Welcome to all my moms, pops, guardians, and guests. This is episode number 28 of the Mom and Pop Spot podcast. Let's see, why is that all out of line? Bernice is actually out on mommy duty today, but we have the amazing Brittany here today. What up, Brittany?
What's good?
Yes. How are you doing today?
Feeling good.
Doing good. That's good. For today's guest, we have Chantal. Can you let the audience know who you are and how many kids you have and when you had your first child?
My name is Chantal. I have 3 kids. I had my first kid at the age of 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how's everything going with parenting this time around?
This time around,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
The years have gotten better. So now everything's going pretty smooth.
That's good. Where would you say you're at on a level of 1 to 10 with motherhood? And you as well, Brittany. Currently, like right now.
10's good, right?
Yeah. You're at a 10?
Today.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, that's good.
I say 9.5 for me.
Oh, that's good. I'd probably say, I don't know, I'm probably like at a 7, like an 8. I'm average. Yeah. Well, Jimmy, you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is I wanted to get into some of the questions. Some of them being is what's worse, a single father or a single mother, and why?
I say a single father is worse only because they don't know what to do when a kid doesn't get the mom love that they need.
Okay. Yeah, and you the same thing?
I mean, I would say they both. You know me, I'm always in duality. I
Yeah.
can't be like one is better or worse than the other. It's all, I mean, if you choose to be a single parent, then I guess it's fine, but it's being a single parent is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you lack a partnership, your child lacks the other partner, the other parent. So overall it's just both sucky.
I guess more in a sense of what society views worse is
I say they would say single dads get all the good love. They get all the good play though. They get help with like a single dad will get good help from a mom. Like a single mom I get no single dad help. Like there's no
I guess so, yeah.
big dad energy coming around me. Like I want to come be your guys' stepdad. I mean,
yeah.
that's a lot. People do say that shit, but do they really mean it? No. Like a lot of people say that, but they don't mean it. You know, I'm like, they're not like Russell Williams. Like if you're not coming at me on Russell Williams energy, then get the fuck on.
Yeah.
Like, so I would say single dads do get a little bit more attention, but I'd also just, I don't know.
There's a movie that's
like a turn on to people for a single dad, but a turn off for a single mom.
What she said.
You know what? That makes 100%. I have to agree with you.
That's what.
Just saying that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a movie that touched that subject.
What?
That on Netflix, Fatherhood.
Oh, which Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Yep.
Yes.
Now that movie, I watched that movie that movie. I ain't gonna lie, I teared up. I was like, dang. Yeah. Like his react, like he was good at acting in that movie.
But it was that just. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a perfect example because he lost his wife. The kid wasn't even a teenager yet, and he was.
She was just born. Right. She was just born.
And so like what 5 years, 6 years until he started dating again, getting a partner, and getting some help. You know, I don't know about anybody else that can relate to that, but for me, my kids are almost teenagers. At this, I don't need it. You know, at this one, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
So I can't even get that type of empathy or sympathy, and I feel like I'm solid. But here we have a movie, and a single father is out.
See, and I have to disagree with you a little bit, Jimmy, because I felt like there was too much of Hollywood in it. It wasn't realistic. You know what I mean? Like it would tune me off when I was watching it. I was like, and like I found so many ways where I couldn't connect. So I was just like, I ended up tuning off, you know what I mean? From it. Let me ask a blunt question. Who's at fault for a woman becoming a single mother?
I feel like the woman in a way, because usually you see signs that you ignore, the red flags, like how does he take care of his other kids?
Yeah.
Things like that. So sometimes we put ourselves in situations that we have to, like beds that we have to lay in later.
Yeah.
I agree. That was really actually, I feel the same way.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about more of those questions because I'm like, man, like we falter a lot of the times, you know, the mothers going back onto your statement, you know, originally where it's just like we don't it's the very double standard, I guess, in a sense, you know. And why do we as a society look down on single mothers, you know, and not the fathers? Like why do you believe that's the tactic?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's a society thing that like they just choose.
Or what could we do to do better?
Awareness, talking, speaking out on it, checking. I like to check shit because people got the name and game of life truly fucked up. Sometimes you have to check it. You have to explain things to people when they're when they're misconstrued. You have to correct them. If you're disturbing your own peace if you let them, oh, I don't want to correct them. No, it's not your responsibility to like make somebody feel the way you feel, but if they have a different view or they have a misconstrued view of what you're trying to say, correct it.
So let me get more, I guess, complicated in that question, because the fact that like I hold no rules, no excuses kind of thing. A father, there should be no reason why a father can't do something. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be the alpha in, in the relationship. He's supposed to say, like, if I can't figure something out for my child, I got to figure something out for my child. You know what I mean? And with the mother, I feel like we down shame her because of the fact that like, oh man, like, she's had all these kids or whatever the case ends up being. And we don't necessarily try to like, versus frowning upon her, we don't try to help guide her up and say, like, let me help you. Let me give you resources. Let me figure out ways that I can actually help you to not necessarily be looked down upon. Let me be, the productive person in society and say, like, let me help you out. You know what I mean? We feed into too much of the negativity where we're, just going to just throw, like, it's a single mother. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have to change society. Society, the concept of it's in a variable. You can change it.
Right.
Society is never a concrete thing. You can change it. And the society we live in, what we create is only of like it's only up to us. So if we don't like it, we have to say something. I'm always checking people. Like on Facebook, I used to not respond to shit. If I see something that irks me, I say something like, usually they'll say shit like, oh, I'd be mad too if I had 2 kids and still no family, or I'd be mad if I had 2 baby dads and no family. Like everybody would be mad if you had 3 or multiple baby moms and dads and still no family. It's not just the mom. You motherfuckers should be mad as well. You got 6 baby moms and no wife. That sucks for you. See how that goes? There's no gender role to it. It's just change the idea of it all. Like, let's change the concept. I don't think a single woman is any less than a single dad. I do think single dads get I know shitty ass single dads, you know what I'm saying? And he might tell the new girlfriend a half of a story and she might go run to the world. Oh, he needs to see his kids, or she hasn't seen his kids. Like, he hasn't seen the kids because of the baby mom. And it's like, chill. You don't know what's really going on. Listen.
Exactly.
But for me, as a single mother, they're always like, you ran him off. You're too opinionated. You're strong-minded. You do this and that. You don't know how to keep a man. Why? Why is it not that same for him? He didn't know how to keep a woman. But in retrospect, it's like, I think it's just society. We have to change it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like this everywhere. In some places in the world, it's not like, it's down south, it's a whole different world. It's a whole up north too. It's so different. We're like the wild, wild west. So we kind of unhinged.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a community thing that we could fix overnight, but I think we should talk about it. No woman,
and accountability.
No single mom or single dad is better or worse than. I think it just sucks. If you didn't want to be a single parent and you now are a single parent, I give you my condolences. It's hard as shit. It's not fun when you don't have the support you need.
Yeah.
You love your kid, and then sometimes that love is not enough. If somebody in the world said, I want to grow up and be a single parent, okay, they probably planned it.
Yeah.
They probably have the finances and the mental. They probably have a support team or something, but nobody wants to be a single parent.
Yeah. And I think accountability needs to come into play too. We need to start, holding people up to exactly, being who they say they are. You know what I mean? I was running into a few situations with my kids' teachers because of the fact that like one seems to be on my son's case like consistently. And I know it's gonna sound really bad to me, but I feel like because of the fact that she doesn't have kids, she's not able to add that compassion or the empathy. Which my next question is, how do you feel, about your guys' kids' teachers? You guys have a good relationship? Are they good teachers? Like overall?
I have a good relationship with mine.
Yeah.
But my older son,
Uh-huh.
is that rare breed that comes along that's like gifted.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of easy
Uh-huh.
for him. Then my daughters can have her rough patches, but as long as you communicate to me in the beginning, as soon as possible, I'm okay with it. But just don't come later and tell me that you gave my kid 3 warnings. Like, well, where was these?
And your only kid, you know what I mean?
Right. So I'm like, I have a good relationship, but just don't cross those boundaries with me at the same time.
Yeah. Because like with me, kind of on the same concept where I felt like she was targeting my son because, they reach out. They're like, I had to, hold your kid, for after school because of the fact that he was being disruptive in class. So I talked to my son about it. I'm like, because there's always three sides of the story, his side, her side, the truth. And he was like, it just wasn't me. And I'm like, okay, like who all got in trouble? He's like, it was just me. And I'm like, something's not adding up. Like the math ain't mathing up. You know what I mean? And I was like, were you the only one? He's like, no, it was all three of us. Like we were all being disruptive. I'm like, but I don't understand why you were the only one. Right. And then after, each time I'm like figuring, okay, there's a pattern. There's a pattern where she's focusing on my son. I'm like, this doesn't, this is more frustrating than anything. And going in with the next question is, should teachers be parents or have a form of parenting class to become better teachers? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys want to elaborate anything on like where, the certain like teaching specifics, anything that you would like to see within teachers so that way they can maybe become better teachers?
I feel like maybe like more like we'll actually put cameras in the classrooms because some teachers pick on a specific kid.
Yeah.
So that's just making it hell for that kid for a whole year. They have to deal with this teacher just treating them different than other kids around them.
Yeah.
So it's like a parent will never know what a kid is going through because when your kid comes, some parents automatically believe the adult over the kid. So it's just like what kids should have to live like that if they don't have to.
Yeah. I would love that idea where if we were able to watch our kids, almost like a nanny cam, they kept in the classrooms where just the parents can be able to log in and see, and it, see how their kids are doing during the day. So that when their teachers are saying, this kid was doing this, and it's like, you have physical content, you have visibility on whether your kid is, that way you can hold them, true to their actions.
With audio.
Right. And that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like all of that. I think that's great. I think that we should definitely have more protection for the youth. I think that just because you're a teacher, that doesn't make you good with kids.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who have degrees and they're teachers and they're fucking terrible. I know a lot of people. I think that I think schools should have like more than one principal, and in each classroom should have a support aide. I think that they should have a dean, like kind of like a doctor, a psychology major, and somebody who has an understanding, bless you, and somebody who has like an understanding of the child mind.
Yeah.
Because I went through all the teaching courses and some of the programs. GCU has a good, amazing program, but some of these programs, they don't even teach that. They don't even teach like the stages of the brain. I don't know. Did anybody here learn about that growing up in school? No.
Yeah.
So why would you think the teacher learned that? They're not even teaching that. So they need to be teaching that. So psychology and sociology and the studies of our science and our brain and how each child is developing at a different pace. It's truly bizarre to have one teacher for over 25 different little personalities. I think it's abuse. I think it's crazy. And I homeschool my kids because of this, because I will catch a case over my fucking kids. Oh God, I will. Yeah. And I don't like how they talk. I don't like how they sometimes these teachers come home, they go into school forgetting that they're here to educate, and they have narcissistic personalities. They have traumatic and trauma-filled personalities. And it's like, oh, well, you're a teacher. And the fuck, so what? Yeah. Like, I don't know you like I don't know the crackhead on the corner. Yeah. I can't come and see where you live. I don't know how you operate when you hang over, how I operate when I hungover, and how you operate when you're hungover. You can't be around my kid. I don't even want to be around my kid when I'm hungover. How the fuck are you going to be around mine?
Exactly.
And I got a mouthy ass daughter. She doesn't like to do shit. Teachers are calling me, you going to do what? So now I got to help you resolve a problem while you're threatening me and my kids. So who's going to catch it? You're going to catch the fade. I'm not even going to discipline my child.
Yeah.
Fuck your PE. Yeah. But anyways, I just
you should get into it a little bit, into the schooling thing, and I mean, be a part of the,
working on the degree right now.
I know, that's amazing.
You should be a counselor.
I'm trying.
That's what I'm saying. Like something in the school, whether counselor, therapist, something.
I am. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Somebody, I guess one of my teachers at my school were getting into it, and she there was one of my classmates. He was wearing a do-rag because he had just got all his hair cut off. And she was like, I don't know why you're wearing that. That is so ghetto. And
I gotta ask, what's her ethnicity? What's her color?
White. She's white.
I wish I guessed it.
I have to ask that. I have to ask because it matters. So I think every teacher should have a
diverse. So let me be ignorant.
Sorry, Jimmy.
You're good. Yeah, sorry, Jimmy. Let me be ignorant. I mean, do we really need to ask? Because a lot of times we kind of already know. You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. Nobody has a diversity or inclusivity training. Nobody has understanding. Black, just because you black and you're black skin doesn't mean you have an understanding. Just because you are light skin doesn't mean you have an understanding. Just because you're purple or you're Asian.
But I'm saying this teacher specifically, we could have, and I mean this with all respect, but we could have easily have guessed her race because the fact that none of the other races are they don't care about it. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I had to ask because it does matter to me, not to somebody.
I mean, no, it does.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it does matter because the point that this teacher had made, but at the same time, it's like.
See, this is why diversity and inclusivity would work because see, if I give you 100%. That trait, you'd been like, see, you would be like, oh, I understand why Brittany would ask that question. Because listen, if somebody was like, if it's hard to believe a black person would say that that's ghetto to wear a do-rag, right? Mm-hmm. Wrong. You don't know how many times black people judge black people, especially in the professional world.
I don't hear that dialect when I don't hear them saying it.
You not.
Or maybe
you're not.
So I guess let me go back. Maybe it just it doesn't in a sense trigger those words.
Yeah.
If I hear it from certain people.
I don't know. Maybe. If I hear somebody that's black or mixed say ghetto and reference something to me and my people, I take it more offensively than a white person or an Asian person. Yeah. I can't connect. See, that's a diversity and inclusivity training. I feel that we owe each other something collectively. Huh. We have something collectively unspoken. We are to look out for one another, have each other's back. In a sense, I'm not trying to say we can't do that with other races or cultures, but you in a diversity and inclusivity training, you will learn that sometimes we walk in subconsciously in competition. We walk into a room and don't even acknowledge each other respectfully. Oh, wow. So you have to make eye contact with everybody and say, I see you, you're here. And some of us be like that, or we want to give them a little, that's us, that's between us. I'm sure other races do that. But within that training, within that program, we can educate and say, some black people don't identify with being African American. Some people don't identify with certain terminologies that we're all collectively supposed to. So that's like within the training. Back to your topic with teachers, should they be parents? Should they have an understanding? Maybe not, but they should at least take a diversity and inclusivity in a psychology class. They should at least have that.
Yeah, it is, and what she's saying is 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because when a black person, you can tell. Ooh, Demi. You can tell the difference between when a black person comes in a room, and you know what I mean, like how more embracing, you know what I'm saying, we are with each other, and trust. Like there's 2,000 kids at my school.
Yeah,
but they say 2.5% of them are black. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows everybody with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that sense.
But real quick, Jimmy, 2.5% out of 2,000, that's not a lot of black people. Do you think all those teachers know how to correctly speak to those black children?
Absolutely not.
So that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Well, actually,
I love the fact that you
there
touched
is,
up on that.
There's only 2. And they fired one of the other black teachers.
See, I think
she left. Sorry. She left because she was like, I'm not treated right here.
There should be every representation in schools. This is a systematic program. We live in a corporation and they should be abiding by these policies and procedures that they set up. They should have every demographic in that school. You should have them, the terms, non-binary, all those people. Any race, I need to see 2 of each. Make it like Noah's Ark. Give me 2 Asians. Give me 2 Mexicans. Give me 2 Europeans. Give me 2 Australians. Give me 2. Like, make it more worldly.
Right.
Because if not, how can these children develop and at the pace that they need to when they're not being developed by developed individuals? They're being guided by the blind.
Yeah.
You want me? I don't like teachers sometimes because of this. Because
I'm the same way.
I just can't help it. I can't help it. It's like a professor, somebody who's constantly educating themselves or constantly continuing their education. I could fuck with that. I like that. I could appreciate that. I've met a couple of teachers who are continuing their education. You could tell because they have the skills to talk to every type of child.
Yeah.
They know how the system is and it fails them, but they're not going to fail your kid. Now, those people don't stay teachers for forever because they get burnt out. And they don't get to stay with your kid for forever. I think it would be so cool if we had an elementary teacher from like 4th grade, from like 2nd grade to like 7th grade that stayed with your child, that you just continued on education instead of switching them every year. I think it would be a little bit more meaningful. They do this in Asia.
Oh, wow.
They keep certain kids in certain schools. You stay and you transition together all the way until like you go into your honorary classes, which is what we call college.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's America wants to keep people confined and stupid, but it doesn't make sense. You want my kid to be so respectful to a stranger, but I tell my kids to not fuck with strangers.
Right.
You're confusing the shit out of my kid.
Yeah. And then another question before we move off the topic of like schooling, but um, they go to school for about, my kids go to school at like 7 in the morning, and they're usually there till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They go home and they still got 2 hours of homework. How are your kids the same thing?
Well, my kids, they're able to go to like an after school program until 6.
Okay.
That used to help them,
Yeah.
do the homework, and then so by the time they get home, I just have to check it.
But do you think that our kids need that much? Do you think
I
once
think
school
it's
is over, they should?
overwhelmed, and then they have a lot of projects, so it's all these things. It's like not just the kids doing the homework. We have to do the homework too because we have to check this homework, help with
We
this
get graded
homework.
as well.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
exactly. And I just think it's like too much considering they were just at school for 8 hours plus a
Exactly.
day.
So that's my point, because I feel like we should move away from giving our kids homework. And then not just that, but because the fact that now us as parents, which I get accountability, but if life is crazy sometimes. Sometimes you're just like thrown in a whirlwind and you're like, man, I forgot to sign this paperwork. The kids are getting marked points because we didn't mark their paper.
Exactly.
Or, sometimes we're so busy and so overwhelmed, and one day, life happens where all of a sudden the kids couldn't get to their homework. Now all of a sudden they're 5 pages, 2 hours, 17 days behind. And I think it's like let's move away from that.
Like I go to work at 8 p.m. So
Yeah.
I have until 8 p.m. to get them all handled school wise.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I have to go to the store, I have to cook dinner, I have to bathe,
All the mommy dues. Yeah.
Exactly. Like now I have to squeeze this in on top of that.
Yeah.
Because y'all gave them a piece of paper for every
There
subject.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way as she feels. We're too busy. It's like we have a lot going on. I struggle with this too as a homeschool mom too. That's why I told my kids, I threatened them with you're gonna go back to in person if you can't keep yourself on track.
Yeah.
My goal is to teach them certain characteristics and trade skills. I've half the time don't give a shit about the schoolwork. These motherfuckers don't call us. They don't check in on us. They don't give a shit. They call me. She sends me an email. I don't care. What, ma'am? I don't even know who you are. Miss Crow. What's your first name? Like, I don't even know who you are. You think I give a shit about what you're talking about right now? We have real life going on over here.
Yeah.
So if I'm so catty and spicy when it comes to all of this because I don't want my kids to grow up confused. And it's we live in a place where we can't really you'll get in trouble. CPS will come to your house if you don't let your kids go to school.
Yeah.
If you don't keep your kids can be failing school, but if they're not at school every day or there's no excuse absence, they will come.
Truancy officer. And,
yes, they will, and it defeats the whole point. So it's like you want me. Then it's so stupid because you got to go get a doctor's note and go. This shit's causing PTSD in my kid. This is giving my kid trauma. There's a new name for it now.
Yeah.
The trauma that school gives kids. There's a diagnosis for it now.
Which is what?
It's some weird crazy acronym, but I just found out about it a couple days ago. But it's just crazy. It's just none of this shit is making sense for our kids, and these kids are noticing that. Yeah. Some of these kids love school and they excel and they do really well in these type of programs, but some kids are like, no, we need to go back to that old system where sometimes it's okay for some kids to go back into a trade, bring back in home ec, bring back in tractor, bring back in all of that stuff that we took away. Our bodies have changed dramatically. Some of the 1960s. You look at those pictures from your grandparents and your great grandparents, and they was all looking good. Everybody was in top shape. Everybody now is either overweight, unhealthy, or have some sort of form of a diabetes.
All that food that they're putting
it's not even their fault. Sometimes, these kids just, they're doing their best. So fuck homework. Go kick it. Go chill. I'm not worried about what your teacher's talking about when we're not with your teacher.
Yeah. So quick question before we go into break.
Sorry.
No, you're good. What would you both say would be the number one rule of the importance of a mother? What's the one key rule that that you have, that you hold within yourself, that says, this is my one role as a mother?
To not only tell them you love them, but to make sure they feel it at all times. Just know it.
Okay.
I'm their safe space. So however and whatever that is, I'm that. And sometimes it's a learning process. Sometimes I have to figure it out as I go. Sometimes my kid goes off and I'm just like, okay, that's how you feel. I understand. And so taking away those strings that I had on me as a kid. Don't fix your face when you're looking at me. Don't talk to me like that. Well, to now I don't know how to look at people. I'm walking around the world like,
just child
I don't know
if I could
look at. Can I look at your eyes? Is it disrespectful? Men you don't look at me in my face. I'm sorry, I was I didn't know. Every day was something different. So for me and my kids, fuck all of that. It's a safe space. And a little while, sometimes I want to pull my hair out because it's just like what. Yeah. But again, I am your safe space. Only time will tell me if I did good with that. And no, I'm trying not to yell. But after the
That's
fifth
hard
time,
though.
yeah.
I mean, you're a parent at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes I don't mean to yell. Sometimes I don't mean to get frustrated, but life happens. You know what I mean? And kids do stuff that, that you don't mean to yell at.
Yep.
Work happens, life happens. It's just, it's a crazy roller coaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes if you don't hit your kid and you yell at your kid, that could equally, studies on the brain show that like it shows on the scan that they've been hit. Like if somebody who's very sensitive like that too, if you scream at them and you're constantly yelling at them, it breaks them down and you're depleting their self-esteem. And now you're making it okay for unhealthy relationships to come in the picture because I've been yelling at you all your life, but I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. And I've been yelling at you because you don't listen. And so if somebody comes in your life and yells at you, they obviously love you, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of it's like giving them the details and then not leaving anything out. It's like, it's kind of hard because I never got that. I got told to stay in my place. I got told to get the fuck up away from grownups. And I grew up biracial. So it was hard as hell. And now my kids, it's like they're growing up without a father. And I have all these like experiences that I don't want to give them. Yeah. So I try so hard to just be their safe space.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So before we continue, we're going to take a quick potty break. But before we do, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to this channel, and share this video for support. We'll be right back.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Iesha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
And we are back.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
okay.
He's alive.
Like, is he dead or a deadbeat?
He's just a deadbeat.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No.
You can ask me. It's okay. You can ask me on camera.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I didn't know if that was rude or not.
No.
Okay.
Actually, so it's one of the questions that I've asked. What would you guys say would be a number one rule for a deadbeat dad?
Number one rule?
Rule? Yeah, like what's like right away? It would be like the one factor that says, okay, you're a deadbeat dad. What's the one thing that person could do and says like you're a deadbeat?
Not showing up when he tells the kids he's on his way.
Okay.
Taking care of other kids and not his own kids.
Yeah. Okay. I did want to go into a few different topics, and then just kind of get, you guys' feel on it. But have you guys taught your child how to deal and manage with toxic adults spewing negative comments like, you can't do that because you're not smart enough. You're fat enough. You'll never be someone special. Maybe not in those words, but based on that person's vocabulary, to that extent. What are you guys saying? What are you guys doing in those situations if that's your guys' kids?
My son had a situation like that. My 7-year-old came home and said that a substitute he heard a substitute tell another teacher that, oh my God, they're so stupid and retarded at this age.
Oh, wow.
And then he was like, but it really hurt my feelings though.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. And so I called the school to make them aware of the situation, asked them, but he ended up, we seen the teacher.
Yeah.
One day I went to pick him up and then him and my niece pointed the teacher out. So I was like, okay, what's her name? They told me her name. And then I was like, okay, go tell her to come to this car when she's done talking to that car.
Yeah.
Once she came over, I introduced myself, told her, this is my son, this is my niece. You substituted their class a couple months ago. They heard you say this. And I want to know, like, what do you have to say to that? Because definitely owe them an apology.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, I've never seen these kids in my life. And I'm like, what's her name? I'm like, they know your name. They're sure. I asked them multiple times. They're telling me at this point, we can call her friends. They heard it too. It's her. But she just played it like.
Just kept deflecting everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh no, they're highly mistaken. And I'm like, okay. She's like, who's their teacher? They say their teacher's name. And she was like, I haven't substituted their teacher in a long time. And I'm like, yeah, they said it was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you still said it. And so she just kind of lied, act like she didn't know what they were talking about. She didn't know them. So I ended up having to call the school, and they said they were going to do like pretty much an investigation about the situation.
Have they done an investigation?
Which I never heard about.
Wow.
That was like at least a month and a half ago.
I'd follow up on it and just, to see what they can do. So that way that teacher can come, because she created some child trauma.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And just the fact that like, it's just, that's rough, especially at that age. What about you?
Yeah. Oh no, I was too deep in her story. I'm like, you need backup. I'm with you because I don't like that. That's exactly what I say. I feel like teachers have bad days, and they are some of the most immature motherfuckers at the same time.
That's what I'm saying, because the cameras in the classroom. Imagine the stuff that the teachers that say stuff on a constant basis that we don't hear.
They're catching things in daycare now. So if you're catching this at daycare, imagine what you're catching in school as well.
There are some beautiful souls now. I don't want to not give credit to the great, wonderful teachers that are in the world. There's a show called Abbott Elementary. Have you seen that on Hulu?
No, I never watched that, but I do see it.
You should watch it. It'll make you appreciate the good ones. It'll make you pay homage.
I know a couple of good ones, and I make sure that
I take care of them.
Yeah, I do, because the fact that we have we have one, we have a bunch of like just family situations that are kind of going on currently, and we have one teacher who is just like, she's like, hey, I don't want to, bring any, attention, but just letting your kid, has been falling asleep, he's, his grades have dropped, whatever the case is, and I explained the situation. Now, because at that point, she's like, she constantly checks up on my son, make sure, and he's like, now we're, in a little bit better spot, but whatever the case is it's a better communication, because the fact that she reached out and she didn't have to, and then she doesn't have to consistently make sure that she's checking up on my son, but she is like, there's some dope teachers that are out there that are doing amazing.
I like the teachers that will come to the kids' events. I like the teachers that say, they try to create these inappropriate borderlines and make it inappropriate. No, me coming to support my students at their game isn't inappropriate. Me being invited by the family to come to an event and a gathering is not inappropriate. Me saying that your child is retarded and stupid at this age, highly inappropriate, highly fucking inappropriate. And if I taught my kid how to kick you in your dick or your private part to hurt you, you would understand the pain that they felt, because that's essentially how they're feeling. They're pained by your words. You hurt them, and that's
the confusion,
and they're supposed to trust you. I'm putting them in your care. And you're going to talk about that. I have a very big problem, but I know we don't condone violence, but I have a very big problem with that. I will slap the fuck out of you, and I will take whatever consequences come with it, because maybe, just maybe, that probably you missed that day at home or in school when we talked about how to treat people with the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. My kid can't do what I do. So, and a lot of other kids can't do, and a lot of parents, like, I see people like, you're a night mom working person. I see that. I'm not going to let her go in there and do that by herself. We don't even have to be best of friends, but there's like an unspoken bond too. It's like, we're going to single mom vibes. You know what I'm saying? We'll look out for one another. I also appreciate the fathers and the parents and the people that are a village that understand that. I like that. I don't disrespect. I don't appreciate any of that. That's just weird. You're talking, my kid is an extension of me. You might as well just have said it to me.
Yeah.
You might as well have, and it's so messed up when a teacher is so ignorant. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Oh, like, so back to her story. Sorry, I can't let it go. She was like telling the teacher that my kids know who you are, and she's like, well, I don't know who you are, or I didn't see these kids. I don't give a fuck if you saw these kids. They said
she doesn't want to get in trouble.
So now the kids that she's teaching, I'm going to just assume they're all going to be little turd shits like that. And anybody that she taught, I want to renege them and bring them back and give them another day, because her substitute put some bad energy on these kids, and I don't want that into their world. So that's kind of how deep. See, it gets deep.
It gets even deeper because the fact that she talked to another teacher, which at that point was okay, because accountability. That teacher should have said, you know what, that doesn't fly, because if she's saying it to,
now what would happen, and ask the kids that happened, and they were like, no, the other teacher just kind of looked at her and walked out. I'm like, so she probably did kind of like know what's wrong, but in the end, like you said earlier, speak up. And she didn't do that in the end.
People are afraid to lose their jobs. People are afraid they would hold a false identity and no integrity to keep paying bills. Sounds like a slave to me. Sounds like an ignorant situation. Sounds like someone who's not fulfilled. Sounds like, why the fuck are you even around my kid? So I feel like the same, like what she was saying earlier too, like, my kid can't do what I'm about to do, so I'm going to bring it to your attention, whether you remember or not. Just shut up and acknowledge what I'm trying to tell you.
Learn from it.
Learn.
Like, so you don't speak like this. Kids listen to it. They hear everything. So it wasn't meant for them to hear, but in the end, they did.
Exactly.
But the other thing too is the other teacher is at fault. Closed mouths don't get fed, kind of thing. Meaning the fact that because the fact that she didn't do anything or say anything about it, you know, there's a good chance that the sub is going to become a teacher. It's going to become, you know, just
Right.
keep growing the
Maybe though, but you don't know there's a silent fight they're fighting, just like a lot
or
of
maybe so. Maybe
yeah,
so.
because there's
Yeah.
a lot of good teachers and they get backlash, you know, from the terrible teachers. They all, you know, they're cliquey. The bad teachers probably kick it together. They probably do a bunch of bullshit together. Then they come into work
And be the difference
and be
maker.
bullshit. So those people who can't tap in like that, like I'm saying, you gotta. It's a little bit of fear that's holding them back. They gotta. There's nothing to fear really but fear itself.
Yeah.
Once you realize that you can stand up and you can speak your piece, you should,
Yeah.
especially when it's passion about these kids.
And you should feel very comfortable about speaking about it and not feel like you're gonna get attacked or targeted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Here's another one. A mother is exposed for being the child of a friend's baby. Child and father have always believed to be a father and daughter until news broke out. It wasn't disclosed on how the news broke out, but mother now uses it against the father and doesn't want the father around the child. Child is around 10. What does that conversation look like for the mother and the child? And does this change the relationship, you know, with the father?
So it's not her. She doesn't want him around the dad because it's not the dad.
Yeah, because the child now found out that that's not the father.
I feel like 10 years, that's a long time. That's a lot of love being built. Like,
that's hard. I mean,
it
if
takes
that
a
was
village
me,
anyway, so
yeah.
when 2 dads is better than 0.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if that was me, if I thought that, you know, this little girl was my daughter, and then, you know, after 10 years they're saying, no, it's not your daughter anymore. And then now the mom is saying, oh, I don't want you to see her because now you found out. Now I'm already building this whole nother life. Like that would tear me up. Like I don't even know how I'd feel because of it, you know?
Yeah, that mom. That's a trash situation for sure. But I feel like she shouldn't have that conversation with her kid. It should be the kid. That kid is old enough that this was in the court. The judge is going to ask this kid, "What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to see your dad? Do you want to still talk to him?" And the mom is going to feel stupid. It sounds like she's just mad that she got that she got outed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Her lies have come to the light, and so it just seems to me that conversation should not be had with the child, and she should save it and table it and have that conversation with her higher self, and then she'd probably get a better clarity. You know.
I agree. Here's one that's crazy. A dad slaps son's girlfriend on the butt during NFL draft celebration. What are you doing if you are the mother of the daughter? Or what are you doing if what are you doing if you're the mother of the son?
If you're the mother of the son, I would hope that you're filing for divorce.
Yeah.
Because that ain't the first ass he smacked then.
Yes.
More than likely.
Yeah.
And that's disrespectful too.
It's very
like
disrespectful.
Your daughter-in-law one day.
Yeah. If that was if I was that was me, if that was my daughter, we'd be throwing hands. You know what I mean?
And I'm still young, so it's I don't know, it gives me like the type of vibes that's like the guys that's like, oh well, she's 18.
Yeah.
But she just turned 18, so you looked at her when she was 17.
Yeah, it's very creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be like, what? As the son and the girlfriend, said, you go up, I'm going low. I'm gonna beat your dad's ass. Why is he touching my ass? So
slapped at the first touch.
Yeah, like I get it's a celebration. I get it's the game and the hype, but you got your whole own son with his whole own ass. Smack that.
Yeah.
You got a whole wife. She's around the corner. Go smack that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my mom's so OG. Right. Smack your own ass. My mom is OG. She probably would have seen the hand coming and would have suplexed his ass or something. Like it's just inappropriate. It's just very much so. And if I was the girl and that's my boyfriend's family, my boyfriend's going to tell his father very much so, keep your fucking hands to yourself.
And at that moment too.
Yeah. He's probably going to get faded.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure my future husband out there would like have a good dad, but if he doesn't, he's like a hoe, then please check your hoe ass.
So
dad.
what conversation are you having? Let's play different fields, but let's say that you're the mother of the son.
Mm-hmm.
What's that conversation like with your son?
I would make it more like his decision, whatever he decides to do about it. I would back him up because in the end, you're about to be in the NFL. You don't got to worry about your daddy. If you wanted to cut him off for a while, I'll respect that.
Yeah.
If you want to forgive him and be like, that's still my dad, regardless, she may not be here tomorrow, but my dad's always going to be here.
Yeah.
I would respect that too. So I think I would just leave it up to the son, but I know what I would handle with my husband at the same time. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you have a conversation with the girl?
No, not much, because I feel like if she didn't do anything wrong, it's probably already awkward because she's probably having to answer a million questions from your son already.
Yeah.
You never know what kind of son you got at home. He may be one of those type of guys that gets mad at the girl. So what if she's already catching hell from him, even though she did nothing wrong?
But I'm saying, like, would you have a conversation that, like, let's say that she is now uncomfortable. Let's say that, the son and the the son and the girlfriend are like madly in love or whatever the case is, and they want to start the future, whatever the case is. Now, this whole situation where the dad smacks the girl in the butt. Now all of a sudden she's like, I feel awkward now. I don't even want to be around the family, or I don't want to be around you anymore.
I feel like the fact that that would have meant that he forgave his dad.
Yeah.
Then he took those chances. Like, you had to expect something like that, because honestly, I wouldn't want to be around my father-in-law at that point either, because he's going to still look, or what if he gets drunk? Like, it's not worth the drama that it may cause.
That's my next thing is, like, if he was comfortable smacking her butt in a celebration where it's being filmed, what is he doing that's, not being filmed, or, where they're, where it's more, exclusive, or more, I guess, where it's more of on a one-on-one situation, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Something did just dawn on me though, real quick.
What's that?
It sounds like a conversation that we probably didn't get to have when we were kids about unhealthy or toxic adult behavior. This was probably missed. So I am going to talk to baby girl about that. I am going to let her know that my husband was very toxic and inappropriate. That was not, I don't condone that. I don't like that. I apologize. He's an extension of me. I do not allow that to happen. But you, as a young person, I don't know, we don't know her age, whatever, but in the situation that you gave me, I would speak with her and let her know that. And anytime in that situation she needs to advocate for herself, I wouldn't care if his whole family was there, if my daughter even stood up, or something got, froggy and people felt like they were going to leap. You always advocate for yourself. You will be protected. You will be protected. You're a highly favored child, right? In this situation, you did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I would then ask her if she feels uncomfortable to be around, because if she does, that's going to determine how I'm going to operate with my husband. Like I said, file for divorce,
Yeah.
of course. But that means we missed something as a family. We've never done this before, so why are we doing this now? With the way my mind works, we need to have a conversation.
Super, like, disrespectful at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's a question we were talking about last week. I don't know if it's last week or the week before, but where, and it kind of touches up on this one, where would you guys have your kids coming around family? Like, let's say you have family members that are coming over and they don't feel comfortable. Would you still have, like, how would that action play out? Would you tell your kids to go play in the room because family members are coming over that they don't feel comfortable around, or you just had you just cut those family members off and say you're not welcomed here?
I think it just, like, depends on why the child doesn't feel comfortable. Like, if it's just a certain, like, look, or if you touched and all those type of things.
Yeah.
Are you violating my kid some kind of way? I don't want you around at all. But it's just a simple fact that you're just a little more strict than I may be. So that makes my child uncomfortable, because they know that they can't act a certain way around you. Then my child would have to deal with that.
Okay.
Because that's okay. They're not hurting you or anything like that.
Right. They're not putting you in danger.
Different folks. Different rules for different adults. So you're going to have to find those, whether it's your managers, your teachers. You're going to see that type of authority everywhere in life. So you might as well get used to it now. And it's okay if a person's not hurting you.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I teach them about uncomfortable settings and situations and behaviors and, like, triggers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for me, my kids do a very good job of telling somebody why they did something that they don't like. I don't like that. I don't like the way you're staring at me. Then you hear the conversation, shit sounds funny. It's like, you're staring at me. I don't want you staring at me while I'm eating. Well, stop staring at me. God gave me eyes to stare. It's just like, it is the stupid. And then they come over. Yeah, I don't like that my uncle's mean, and I don't like that, because my little brothers are the same age as my kids, and I'm like, I can't force them to like each other. But for the most part, they do get along great. But when they were younger, it was hell. I was like, no, like, you're gonna have to get along. Now, if it was an adult, no.
Yeah.
If it was an adult, it's a fuck no. If somebody is trying to be around my kid, and my kid don't like you, you're the issue.
Yeah.
The problem is not with you. This kid don't like you. As an adult, if people don't like me and it doesn't have to do with work, I'm not gonna go around you. I know you don't like me.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have nothing to do with work, I'm gonna stay over here and do my section. You gonna stay over there in your section, and we're gonna get this bag. And as a dancer, I've had to make lots of situations that were uncomfortable work for me. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for them. So they need to be able to express themselves. They need to be able to notice some things. And if they don't and they can't, then I need to be able to give them that knowledge.
Yeah.
But no, as far as spending time with people that we don't like and that make us feel uncomfortable, no, I'm not going to force you. But if it's not sexual, if it's not abusive, then no.
Deal with it, yeah.
You're going to deal with that, because like she said, if your uncle's stricter than me and you can't get away with gall, then you're not going to do that. He's going to let you know. He's going to stop that. So yeah.
I get it. Here's another one. Store manager throws mother and bad child out of the store. Mom states she can't discipline child because she'll go to jail. Manager is upset because the kid is being bad and messing up the whole store. Who's at fault and what kind of discipline should be taken on here?
I feel like everybody plays a role, including the kid.
Yeah.
But I've seen like videos of those types of like moms, and that is a tough situation. I'm not even gonna lie, because CPS, that's a scary thing. Like nobody wants to go through that. And I've seen like kids like threaten their moms with CPS and like in a
I was one of
store
those
and all
cases.
That was
like that's like I don't know. I'll take my kids to the car real quick.
Yeah.
But I understand both sides because certain kids are just like I've seen some little hell ass kids that would have been like, oh, I would have been snatched his ass up and took his ass out.
Period.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. I can just feel every side because some of them I see some of them do try.
Yeah.
But it's still your kid is still like get control.
Right.
Like if you drop them off at home, like show them that you don't have to do
Oh,
everything
yeah.
you're doing for them if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what it takes.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like stress. I'm not getting gray hairs behind my kid, especially these little kids that people are letting control them.
Yeah.
Just not me personally.
Yeah. You said you was a case. See, you called CPS on your parents?
No, I
That's
told
what I was
that.
wondering.
I told that to my mom one time.
What
We
the
just me and my mom. It was I was like, I think just maybe I was in high school, maybe I was in about to go to high school, and I was like, oh, you can't spank me, like I'll call CPS, whatever the case is. And I don't know what the situation was where we had a cop in the the area, and my mom was like, we were still arguing, me and my mom, and the cop's like, I'm not seeing. He's like, you can go and whip his ass.
That's that's funny. I just want so like how kids complain. There are some kids that complain about my mother called the police on me or whatever. But I'm like, you was probably one of those kids that was threatening CPS on your mom.
Yeah.
That's a different situation. It's a different situation. I'm just kidding. No, but my just to be personable, my own daughter tried that shit with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, oh, you want to play? I took your phone and yelled at you. You feel unsafe?
Yeah.
I choked you? Oh, you told your therapist this? Now you know what happens?
Yeah.
We're going to get a knock on the door and they're going to come take your little pretty black ass up out of here.
And all your luxuries and
you
everything
think,
else got
and I tried to find that episode of Atlanta to show them where Childish Gambino did an episode where the little boy was not listening to his mom. CPS came because he told the school that his mom was doing some bad shit. The mom packed the shit, kicked the boy out, take him.
Yeah.
No investigation, take him. I wanted to show my kid that, but there was no point in that because I failed my kid in that moment. There is no episode, no show, no none of that shit that's going to give it to me. I dropped the ball somewhere. Now I got to go find it and give it back to them so that this never happens again. Now, them people was in my house.
Yeah.
Talking to me about my cat. I think I have an idea because I have cameras in my house. I said, I heard her therapy session. I know what she said. I forgot to get with them because life goes and shit's moving.
Right, yeah.
But I heard them say that and I wanted to say that. I said, that's a ground for them to come and investigate because you told your therapist.
Yeah.
She didn't call CPS, but she told her therapist that. Yeah. So CPS showed up. So I have a little bit of anxiety when I hear a knock on my door these last couple days because I'm thinking I'm not wrong. I'm not doing nothing wrong. But they wanted to come and investigate me. I said, you can investigate all you want. I know the law. I have custody of this child. You ain't taking this. This motherfucker stays here with me. If I want to discipline the way I want to, I can.
Yeah.
But that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
That hurt my ego. And as a parent, I felt like I failed. I'm saying, and they were in there singing like a canary to those people talking. I'm saying, you're going against the grain. Yeah. So I have to go and redo some shit. I have to, this is a 13-year-old, about to be 14. Got the game of life fucked up for that.
Yeah.
For sure. But did I yell? No. Did I sit there and hear what was said and how they felt about me? Yeah. And was it accurate with what reality is in their brain and how it is? No, they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
No more therapists. You're going to get your ass up every day and do what I say. And if you don't, you're going to have consequences. It's that simple. You're not calling the law on me. You're not talking to nobody about it to me. You're going to do what I say. And that's just that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's been decent. It's give them a crazy face and my eye starts twitching. Because I think they might be a little scared because I didn't yell at them.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what's going on. What's the next situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I did want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but in Denmark, babies can take naps outside while parents shop or while they're at home, stating it helps the baby sleep better, regulates the baby's temperature, and gets the baby's fresh air. The parents just leave the baby monitor in the stroller. It's told that babies don't get stolen because people don't want the responsibility, which is kind of weird. But and I read that this used to happen all the time in Scotland, and it still happens in most part of Sweden. Can you guys ever imagine that? Like you just be shopping and there's like a bunch of strollers with babies inside there just outside. Like that is crazy.
You accidentally take the wrong baby home.
Right. Yeah. I think about so many different situations. That's crazy.
Right. That's kind of weird.
That's weird.
I think it's weird because we're so used to like, like dealing with shit the way we deal with
Bad
it here.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah, you said they don't want the responsibility, so they're not going to steal a baby. But like, what if someone's in a bad mood and they just like push that cart or like,
because the fact that
yeah.
now this is mentioned, now they're like, oh, we can go there and get free babies. You know what I mean? Like
you don't need one bad person to do it.
that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right. As long as that's happened, there's never ever been a story though about a kidnapped child or murdered child in those situations. There's no situation like that. But it's weird here in America. Every other fucking day, there's people trying to steal some kids.
Yeah. 1 in 43 seconds, I think, a child is stolen.
Weird.
And I might be
so
wrong on my
weird.
numbers, but I know it's pretty close to like it's in the 40s. So it's
Here though, in America.
Yeah, 1 in like 43 seconds, 47 seconds, something like that.
We have and we have countries where people are leaving their babies outside and they are not. So yeah, they might try. Those traffickers might try it, but it's not going to happen. Something's different in that community. Something is happening different in that society that you're not going to fuck around and find out over there because it's already been done in this community. Don't play about these babies. So we might need to take a page out of that book.
We do.
Slightly.
There's plenty of stuff that we can be doing. Stop, it's crazy when you can steal a child, when you can hurt a child, when you can sexually abuse a child, and you'll get less time than you would someone with a petty crime with like drugs or whatnot. Someone that gets a drug dealer will get more time than a sexual predator. You know what I mean? That is crazy. That's the number one rule. I mean, that would be a big factor of why things would change if we would be more stricter on them.
Right. The law says like the law has it fucked up, but you get inside them situations, you go into them prisons or them jails, and most of them motherfuckers don't make it out alive.
Because they do the responsibility that I wish that our government would do.
Oh yeah, that's
what
why.
I mean? Like I wish that I wish we wouldn't have to depend on the prison system to say, okay, take care of this predator because society couldn't, because our government couldn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The whole system there sucks. I feel like they should, be doing stuff to immaculate themselves back into society. Like, I don't know, go start an economical farm or something. Those motherfuckers.
There's plenty of stuff. They don't care.
They don't care.
It's a number. You're a number in the system.
Yeah.
It's bread and butter.
That's it.
Nobody's gonna know. Oh.
It is now time for the no, the O, and the laugh. It's where this and every show we give out a random hack, fun fact, or message and joke. And it's starting to get hot out. You guys are feeling the heat a little bit, right? Actually, the past like day or two, it's been kind of nice, but it kind of gets like that tutu hot. You ever hear that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, tutu.
I used to.
But today's hack is to buy some popsicles. I forgot what they like little like multicolored ones.
The like push pop ones or like
no, like the actual the freezer one. Yeah, the ones that you have to cut. Yeah. So get a kid's cup and put the popsicle, but have it like bent halfways. Throw it in the freezer, and when it freezes, now you got 2 popsicles, and then it actually already has a line, so you know where to cut.
Just
especially if you have toddlers, you give it to them. They don't have to make as much of a mess because now they have half the amount.
That's a good hack.
Yes,
it's a good hack for babies.
Yeah. And the joke. What do you call a bear with no teeth?
Damn, I'm usually fast. Hungover, so I don't know.
Yeah.
A bear with no teeth?
Yes.
Tooth?
No. You're on the right track.
But... Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh no.
A gummy bear. It is a gummy bear. Yeah. And the fun fact: your own faults will be mirrored by your kids. Whether it's your frustration, your inability to focus, messiness, or your constant procrastination, this will carry into your kids. After a few times of witnessing these bad habits, you will want to become a better person. So remember this as your kid is soaking everything up like a sponge and change to be a better difference maker. As we wrap up the show, I want to thank today's guest, Chantel. Oh, not that one.
I'm like, she's not showing me giving her no childish laughter.
I forgot to switch over the
Give her the.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to thank today's guest, Chantel.
Thank you.
Yes. How did you like the show?
I was nervous at first, but it was pretty cool.
You did great.
Yeah,
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
We just talk, parent. I tell everybody all the time, I can't figure it out. So by me talking to other parents, it kind of puts things in perspective for me.
No, that's true because I definitely learned a lot from you. Like I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you.
You know,
She has
someone else's head.
Yeah, she definitely
Yeah.
has like.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
I appreciate it.
Stop making me blush.
Yeah.
Thanks. No, I have fun. I think you're dope. It was so cool meeting you. I love your hair, your dress. She's so cute. We got some cute pictures.
Right.
But call me or get my number because if you need support with your teacher or anything like your kids, I definitely like that story. I'm still like involved. I'm invested.
Yeah.
No,
Her experience is everything
definitely.
else.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Actually, let's do this. Give her one piece of advice, and then you guys can exchange one piece of advice to each other.
Yeah, give me some advice. I got a little hot temper, so I need I need some help.
My one piece of advice is to try to woosah.
Yeah.
I was like literally like you too, like facts. Like I didn't play
Yeah.
around. But then like a lot of like crazy things happened. People started dying around me and stuff like that. Caught a couple charges and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, like this is what I'm showing my kids, you know?
Right.
Like I gotta try to like calm myself down so that they can know like this ain't don't go out there and show your ass.
Calm it down.
Yeah, that's it. Other than that, I think you do your damn thing though.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
dope.
trying.
What's your advice?
Only advice that I have is to keep on smiling and keep on
Thank
being
you.
loving. She has a great understanding for her children. Just hearing her, I feel like, talk about her kids. She knows that each children have different needs. It's a great sounding mother. She's like she said, woo-saw. She's acquired. She's been through life. Yeah. She's got it and she still wears that smile. So keep on smiling, girl.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I do want to send some love to Brittany.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll take it.
And as we wrap up the show, I want to thank Habari, the whole Habari crew entertainment. Please like and follow Habari Live Podcast, Habari Entertainment. Please also check out One Love on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and make it a great day. We're out.
Deuces.
So.